So I guess I would say that this is an advanced version, but part of me really wants to say this is how it's supposed to be played. But I mean, it really depends what you want to do. So obviously I will link my original arrangement that I did in like 2015 and 16. And then that arrangement has my initial tutorial of how to play that arrangement. This is how to play by a more advanced way. And the intricacies that I've added here, they're the piano parts that play in the background outside of the main melody. And this song was rough, man. So we start off, let me lower the volume because it's midnight. Right here, there's a lot of things that are different, but you can still incorporate some of the things from my initial tutorial into this version as well, but it just depends. So we start off here. So let's start with your left hand. Left hand starts off kind of fast, but it's going to be A major eighth. Something like that, right? So we're going to start right here. So we're just going up A major eighth, back down, and then a little bit back up. So A, C sharp, E, A, E, C sharp, A, and back to C sharp. Then we're going to go here. Is G sharp, D sharp, G sharp, G sharp. And then right here, so just F sharp and C sharp. Then it's going to be a little bit of a change. So now we're doing the same thing that we did on A. Now we're going up. And I think before when I taught you guys this, my original we were doing here, but we're going to do this. B, D sharp, F sharp. Yeah, so B, D, F sharp, F sharp. So it's going to be C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, C sharp. And you repeat it again. Okay. So this is just for the first part. So let's focus on the right hand. So this part is actually more difficult than I needed it to be. It's so difficult I don't even remember. It's like I'm starting to forget how to play it, how I played it before. So, but what I added here is, and the reason why I added that is because if you like really listen to the song, I really think that there's like definitely more than 2 pianos in this song. So at some point, a lot of it sounds like, I don't know if it's the reverb that makes it sound kind of jumbled when you really listen to it. And it's not bad because I love reverb. But I was trying to incorporate some extra notes in here to give that fullness that the actual song has. Because if you notice, if you listen to an arrangement, it sounds more clean versus Nujabes' actual song. So I was trying to add more of that to get that feel. So that's why I started the beginning like that versus before I think I started is. But I switched it to this. And it's kind of difficult for me to figure that part out because I was messing up a lot. Ain't nothing worse than when you're trying to start recording a video and then you mess up in the first 2 seconds. Like you didn't even have the decency to mess up a minute into the song. You messed up right in the beginning. So right here. So you can do this 2 different ways, but I'll show you the easier way. Right here. So starting with B and E. And it's like you're going down. So then it's going to be C sharp and B. And you're just repeating it. But you can also do it where it's like, which I would basically say at that point the only note by itself is C sharp. So every time you would be playing E or B, you'd just be hitting both. So it looks like this. If that makes sense. But it's probably easier to do both C sharp and then B. And because of how you're moving here, that's why your left hand has to go fast for this part. Okay. So right here is G sharp, B, G sharp, B. So yeah, G sharp, B. Then it's going to be D sharp, B, F sharp, D sharp. And then right here, and maybe I made this part more difficult. I'm sure you can probably use your left hand for this F sharp, but I didn't. Not for this part at least. So what I'm doing is I'm using my right hand. So A sharp, I'm sorry, A, F sharp, A. Then you're gonna go back to F sharp. So A, F sharp, A, F sharp, E, C sharp. Okay. Then you're gonna go back to the beginning. We're gonna do that part over. Yeah, so basically that part stays the same for the A major. And that stays the same right here. The only difference now is your left hand's on B major. And now here we go. E, B, G sharp. So here's the difficult part. And I realized afterwards that I made this difficult for myself in more ways than one. So like this part right here, I realized, at least when I was doing comparisons to other people's arrangements, they weren't doing octaves for that, which explains the amount of takes it took me because I kept jumping from octaves back to the main melody. So this part to me I always found difficult. But yeah, I mean, if you want to not do octaves and go ahead and just play it as a single note, by all means go ahead, but that's not how I'm going to teach it here. And I don't even think I did that in my initial arrangement X amount of years ago. So now, there's a lot going on here. I'm dreading this tutorial because it's like, I don't really know how I want to teach it. But your left hand kind of, it slows down versus like the beginning you were doing this, right? But now it slows down to, so left hand, I guess, in a sense becomes easier for this part. So right now it's just going to be A, E, A, A. So yeah, A, E, A, A. Obviously it's going a little slow. Right here is G sharp, D sharp, G sharp, G sharp. And then F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, F sharp. This part you can do two different ways as well. It depends what you want to do with your right hand. You can incorporate, like you can do F, C, F sharp, whatever, right? And then the second time you would take it away and do F sharp and C sharp and have your right hand do the, right? Or you can just have your left hand do this part entirely. Because your thumb hits that F sharp twice anyway, so I mean, it depends what hand you want to use or which thumb you want to use specifically. That's one way, or it depends. Right? So same thing going up, A, E, A, B, F sharp, probably B, B, and then C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, C sharp. Yep. A, E, A, B, F sharp, B, B, C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, C sharp. Right? Now let's focus on the right hand. This is where the octaves come in. So another thing that I added that made it a little bit more difficult, and you might not be able to tell, but I am, okay? Because I'm playing it. So what I noticed, again, I think it's a reverb thing, but I was trying to do my best with this, right? So when this part, I don't know if you even notice it now, but I'm playing the octaves separately. I'm like doubling up real quick. I'm not playing them together like this. What I'm actually doing is hitting them separately really quickly. So it's like 1, 2, right? But it's going quick, because the more I listen to this song, the more that this sounds accurate. So it's kind of hard because, like, I don't know, like the pattern, you're like playing notes regular over here, but you're jumping like this. I don't know, if you can listen to the song, you might hear that, but that's what I'm doing. And that's another reason why I kept messing up, but y'all won't know that because I don't upload my mistakes. Yes I do. Let me shut up. Anyway, so yeah. Right here we're doing G sharp, and then we're jumping to try to continue the main melody. G sharp. We're jumping over here to B, E, and C sharp. B, E, C sharp, right? Now we're going to go to F sharp. Then we're going to hit B. Then we're going to do this. So this is just G sharp, F sharp, E, C sharp. And then you're jumping back to this main melody that we already learned, the A, E, C sharp. Again, depends what you want to do. If you want to add your thumb here for this F sharp, or if you want to do it like this. Depends what you want to do there. You make up your mind on that. But yeah. As you can see, I kind of just did both for that part. But what I did wrong in my initial arrangement is I went straight to this. And the song doesn't do that. The song actually does this. Right? So that's what we're going to learn. And then we'll eventually get to the next part. So yeah, we've learned this. So then we're going to go right here. This is just E, F sharp, G sharp. Same pattern here, B, E, C sharp. F sharp. And we're going to hit D sharp right here. So right here is G sharp, F sharp, E, C sharp. Now you'll notice that this is the same C sharp that your left hand's going to use. So after you hit it, you have to kind of move so your left hand can use it. So right here, E, B, G sharp, and then you're going to stop at E because it's going to get ready to go back up. Okay, so it'll look like this. So it's kind of repeating that, right? But here comes the next change. Because now, this is technically the song broke down. Like, this is where the drum's going, where it goes like, right? So, song broke down. Now, that's when it's going to trigger to... Right? So, we've already learned this. Now, song broke down. So, kind of repeating some stuff right here. So right here is the change. So right here, E, F sharp, G sharp, B. Okay, let me kind of mess it up. I gotta do it over. So yeah, there's like a pause here. There's a pause, but you can fill that pause in with C sharp, so it'll be this. Yeah, so we're gonna do that instead. And basically your right hand is pretty much the same. That's why, I mean, your left hand's pretty much the same. That's why I haven't gone over that. But we'll just change right here. Which kind of goes back to how we played in the very beginning. A, B, D sharp, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, C sharp. Yeah, I'm sorry. B, D sharp, F sharp, B. Sorry. So right here, E, F sharp, G sharp, B. So it's really not that hard right here. B. So just B, C sharp, E, G sharp, and then this chord, B, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp. G sharp, F sharp, E. And then you go back to that, which we already learned those notes. So you'll be able to, once you get the hang of what we learned in the beginning, you'll be able to pick up where we enter main parts of the melody in here without me having to go over it. So you're going to stop on E like we did last time, and then we're going to go back to octaves. Same thing we did before. The song does this, okay? It does do this, but the way that I played it before, I did not do it this way. So you're repeating the same thing, but there's going to be a slight change. So let me show you what I mean. So here's what it looks like the first time. So that happened in the background too. Obviously my arrangement is like 1 minute and 40 seconds. I was not about to be out here for, how long is it? The song is like 3 minutes and 4 seconds, I think. I was not about to be out here trying to do that. I didn't even really, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I didn't even, my arrangement, I faded away the video because it's like, bruh, there's a mistake right after it. And I'm not doing this over. Bruh, it's tired. So right here, here's the change. Pretty easy. Left hand's the same, by the way. C sharp, D sharp, E, D sharp, B, F sharp, and then octaves of G sharp. Now when you come back to G sharp, that kind of resets where you're at. Watch. Now the only thing that changes on your left hand when you're doing this is just me doing this. I'm just adding E. Nothing too crazy, so just C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, E. Then the song starts over back at G sharp. Then it kind of doesn't repeat. So it does that, and then when you start back over at A, you're gonna do this. Here it is. This is another thing that happens in the song. So left hand, Still kind of the same. Yeah, you're jumping in between melodies, right? So left hand, and then your right hand's gonna jump in and fill that up. So right here, B. Wow, I'm tired. That's what it is. So it's gonna be B, and you're hitting a chord, but you're rolling. So B, E, B, A, G sharp, F sharp. And then you're jumping back over here, which you've done before. We have done this before, right? Have we though? Let me see. We have done this. Maybe you haven't. I don't know. We'll go over that in a second. But yeah. So your left hand still doing the AEA. Your right hand's jumping back down. B, F sharp, D sharp. And then we've already learned this part. Right? So now what I do here, because there is a pause of the next until the next intricacy, and that's really the only word I can figure out for this. So what I do is I actually reverse back to the very beginning and incorporate this part. Right? But there's going to be a little change there. So changes right there. And now when I listen to my arrangement, it sounds kind of weird, and I feel like it only sounds weird because a lot of other things have stopped so I can play that. But to me, I felt like that was a detrimental part to play. I wanted to incorporate little parts where I can of the song, just to be like, I did the entire song. At least that's how I feel. So whatever, we're jumping down here. Then we go back to this part. Then we have right here. So what's happening is your left hand does C sharp, E, G sharp. And then you're just like messing around with E. Because your right hand's doing a lot too. Let me count real quick. Sorry. Yeah, so I guess you're going to hit C sharp, E, G sharp, and then you're going to use E twice with your left hand. But the third time, your right hand's going to take over. So after you hit this first G sharp, you have to move your finger, at least I do, so I can make my right hand use it. G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, C sharp, and then E, C sharp. So your right hand does G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, C sharp, E, C sharp. Okay? Now if you listen to the song, you might be able to hear that. But if you don't, and you don't like this part, don't learn it. The song will go on. So what happens after you do this is that's when this part comes. So I didn't realize until after I uploaded it, I missed the part, because when you do this, he hits like a delayed octave of B. So it'll look like, or sound like this. Right? So right here, I forgot to add that. It made me so mad, and I said, you know what, I barely made it through that arrangement. I'm not doing it over. So I didn't add it, but I wanted to teach it to you guys just in case. So now, so when you're rolling up like this with your right hand, your left hand actually goes back to utilizing the C sharp versus just playing 3 notes. Sorry, but yeah. And it plays it a little faster or slower in certain parts, I don't know. Versus before, when we were using it, we were doing like this. And now it's... So it's like you go up and you come back down, but you don't go all the way back down. So it's going to be A, C sharp, E, A. And then E, C sharp. So yeah. Then we go back to the 2 notes on with your thumb. And then we're going to go back up, because this is when you're doing, right? You got, same here. This time you're going all the way down. So A, C sharp, E, A, E, C sharp, A. We're going to go to B major 8th, B, D sharp, F sharp, B, F sharp. So back F sharp and D sharp. And then 3 notes, so C sharp, G sharp, C sharp. Okay, so right hand. Really not that hard. Probably the best part of the song. A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, F sharp. Then you got that delayed octave of B, B, B. Then it jumps back into... So you don't have to, I don't have to teach that part, but that's where this part comes in. Don't mind that I'm playing the left hand differently right now. I got a lot going on in my head, but I know how I'm teaching is how I want you to play. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing. My mind's just doing other things. So when I initially did this part, in my arrangement years ago, I was actually only doing like 2s. And maybe that was easier. Maybe I should have stuck to that. But it sounded more full when I used 3. So I do start off with 2 of B and E. But then I turn it into like a 3-note chord. So then I turn it to B, E, B. And when we're hitting these chords, guys, we're not just slapping. We're not doing that. We're rolling the notes. So in a sense, they're being hit separately, but not really. So you hear the difference? And then they turn into inversions. So B and E, or B, E, B, E, B, E, B, E, E, B, E, and next inversion, B, E, B, E, B, E, and it goes all the way up. Inversions, right? I do want to say though, holy shit, playing it like this, like playing it with that roll, even though that sounds more accurate, it's probably going to be more difficult for you. I can't tell you how many times that I wasn't making mistakes until I got to this part, and I was pissed. Oh man. Holy shit. Anyway, yeah. Right? And then we jump back to here. And here comes the change. Very faintly in the background, you hear the piano messing up on, or not messing up, but messing around with these black keys. So it's F sharp, G sharp, D sharp, F sharp, C sharp, D sharp, B. Okay? And then we got this part that plays. I'm sorry. So here I kind of changed the left hand. I'm adding just a little bit more notes. So left hand, you know, same thing with A, but now we're going to change the G sharp and F sharp part. So right here, so I'm just doing G sharp, D sharp, G sharp, B, and I come back down, G sharp, D sharp, and I do the same kind of pattern with F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, A, and then back down, F sharp, C sharp. With A and B, we already learned that pattern, and then I kind of do the same thing here that we did with the G sharp and the F sharp. So C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, E, C sharp, G sharp. Sorry. So we've already learned. It's like it's doing an octave if you pay attention. So we're starting with B, E, B, B, E. G sharp, F sharp, G sharp, B, F sharp. G sharp, B, C sharp, and then C sharp, B sharp, C sharp, B. Feel free to rewind anything that you feel like I'm going too fast for. Now, if you want to be fancy for the first time, you can add F sharp right at the end of that, so it will look like this or sound like this. But then I wouldn't repeat it again, because then it sounds wrong when you're going up. So let me show you. I mean, it's not wrong. It just, to me, it takes away the specialness of it. So I would do it like this. But if you repeat it, so basically when your left hand's going down, you can add that F sharp, but when you're going up, I wouldn't. that makes sense. But overall, that really concludes the tutorial. My dog is talking about he gotta go outside. He's just looking at me. All he has to ever do is go outside, right, Griff? Where to go? He camera shy, but not really. You gotta go outside? We gotta go. Yes, sir. That's that tail wag. I hope this helped. If this tutorial is too advanced for you, yo, there is no shame in using my other tutorial to learn the easier way. This took me forever to learn.